Welcome back to the news. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill again confirmed that the special agriculture business leases must all be cancelled. He made the remark after Oro Governor Gary Jufa asked if there was a plan to effect the cancellation.
Jufa followed up on the SABL cancellation issue today, this time asking for the action plan.
If he has a plan in regards to how we can effect those cancellations, that rather than just the commitment, the actuality also prevail.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill acknowledged that they must be cancelled, however stated the Land Minister would be presenting a ministerial statement after question time.
The National Executive Council has already made a decision that all SABLs must be cancelled. And as I indicated in the press releases, that we have given that direction already. How the officials implement it, they must conform to the legislations and the laws that regulate all these issues in lands and all the other related agencies of government.
He agreed that it wasn't right for people to be displaced from their own land.
And it is certainly unacceptable. Our people cannot continue to be displaced in their land. They must be respected. They must be allowed to participate in any development that is taking place in those lands in a meaningful way. That has been our stand in this government, and I will continue to maintain that principle all the way through.
Meantime, during the Land Minister's ministerial statement, Benny Allen confirmed 15 officers had already been terminated. Meredith Kusa, TVWan News.
One member of parliament took the plight of ward councillors and village magistrates to the House today, calling for the government to pay their outstanding salaries before parliament adjourns for elections. Member for Sinasina Yongomul and former Attorney General Kerengakwa was concerned that although the government passed legislations 2 years ago to have councillors and village magistrates on a fortnightly salary, many have missed out.
That councillors were like the government in the words, but many of them have not been paid in the last 6 months. He called on the Department of Provincial and Local Level Affairs to look into this and make payments to them before elections.
So inaplo Prime Minister, he can talk lo Deputy Prime Minister also Minister blong Provincial Government, Local Government Affairs, lo straight in this law before mipla he go inside lo election.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, who spoke on behalf of the minister responsible and his deputy, Leo Dion, said some of these councillors and village magistrates were missing out because of no proper account details. O'Neill said these were some of the factors contributing to the non-payment of salaries to some councillors and village court magistrates, but assured Kua that these monies will be paid to them.
So, Bami Toto one time, Secretary of Provincial Affairs na online Blue Attorney General's Office.
Ruth Rungola, TVWan News.
The case between two prominent business women in the country has been struck out due to lack of evidence. The Waigani Committal Court struck out the case against Janet Sios after the complainant, Lady Ni Cragnolini, failed to produce fresh affidavits.
Following complaints by Lady Ni Cragnolini, the founder of Perman Hospital Foundation and owner of Frangipani Hayakas, Janet Sios, was arrested and charged for one count of improper use of the Information and Communication Services as per Section 266 of the National Information and Communication Act, or NICTA. Lady Ni Cragnolini is the executive director of the LNA Group of Companies. This case at the criminal court is not the first case against Mrs. Sios. The first case filed against her was at the civil court, which was struck out due to lack of evidence. The complainant pursued the matter at the National Court. However, the case was dismissed for want of prosecution. The complainant had accused Mrs. Sios of using the social media application Facebook by posting messages that caused annoyance, inconvenience, and needless anxiety. Court, however, heard that the message were private messages between Mrs. Sios, the witness in the case, Gority Kennett, and another female friend. It was noted that the fact that the messages were not directly posted to the complainant, the defendant had no intention to annoy or inconvenience the complainant in any way. The criminal court struck out the case on two grounds. One is that the complainant and the witness, Gority Kenneth, made no effort in filing fresh affidavits for this case, and two is that Section 271 of the NICTA Act restricts criminal proceedings against the offenders.
I welcome the decision of the court, and I've respected the court for the last 5 months since they charged me and to clear my name at this time. So I'm quite thankful that it's come to this, and I'm really relieved and ready to move on with my life.
Shamin Poreambe, TVWan News.
Social problems and law and order issues are adversely affecting the lives of Kido villagers in the Karikuhiri district of Central Province. In response to this, village elders have established dialogue with the Central Police to approach and address these issues collectively.
To punish the victims.
Elders from Kido village openly shared what their community has turned into due to alcohol and drug abuse. What was once a peaceful village is now a hub for drunkards, with law and order problems first weakening the traditional values of love, peaceful coexistence, and above all, respect. Sadly, all this is caused by youths.
If there is a problem here, how do we bring the police here?
The meeting with Central Police on Wednesday sets the pace for a collective effort in addressing the problem. Dialogue has been established between the police and the village, with roles of both parties clearly defined. PPC Central Laimo Asi issued a stern warning to the youths.
And for you young people, young boys who are listening now, creating trouble in the village, you better stop it. Today must stop. Because whatever initiative that we are going to create here, we make sure that Kido village will be monitored.
The youths were reminded yet again to uphold and practice their cultural, religious and ethical values, as they are the pillar and the future of Kido village.
You got time but you come up lapun, but you sit down and look. And you will have to question yourself. What have I done? How much? Me walk him low, plus me. Have I contributed something? Or me free rider inside of community, cause him trouble, run away.
Kido village will be monitored weekly and offenders will be dealt with accordingly. Caroline Ure, TVWan News.
PNG's churches provided crucial services for everyday Papua New Guineans, particularly in rural and remote areas. The churches are increasing their support to the people through the Church Partnership Program. CPP partners gathered in Alotau recently to plan their next 3 years of activities.
Salvation Army Colonel Calvin Ali says the churches provide a significant proportion of services for Papua New Guineans.
The churches in Papua New Guinea are probably unique to the world. The churches for more than a century have been meeting the needs that normally government would meet of the people of the country. So particularly in education and in health and areas related to that, delivery of water tanks, health and hygiene. So the churches combined for up to 100 years now have been a significant provider, and I will say partner, with government in the delivery of those services. So probably more than 50% of health and education services across the country are provided as part of the mission of the church.
The Church Partnership Program is supported by the Australian government and brings together PNG's 7 mainland churches and with their Australian NGO counterparts. United Church moderator Bernard Siai said the churches were now more united than ever before.
Be able to relate to each other, we can be able to share together and talk about those, just one thing, that is about saving our people.
Participants at the forum visited a water, sanitation and hygiene run by the United Church at the Millen Bay village of Lelehudi. Reverend Siai said the program was a great example of the sort of development work undertaken by the churches. Lelehudi grandmother and retired nurse Rhonda Lama said the church had been very helpful in bringing the sanitation program to the village.
So because the program was launched here and it was only done here at Lelehudi, the other 6 congregations didn't attend. They only had it here. But after that, they told us that when the other congregations come in, you will show them what you have learned. and they will also take it. So now the other 6 congregations within this circuit are now trying to practice that project or that habit of washing hands. Yeah.
CPP partners agreed to work more on improving gender equality in PNG, in addition to providing health and education services and disaster relief. The General Secretary of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, Father Victor Roch, said the churches were open to work much more closely with government to improve the lives of Papua New Guineans.
Governance, capacity building, and also those special themes that we are going to discuss about, that is health, education, inclusive of the groups like women and children, and disaster risk management. So such themes, we are going to focus on them.
Tere Alex, TVWan News.
The Kumul Consolidated Holdings hosted a reception dinner last night in Port Moresby, celebrating the awarding of contract for the Ramutu Hydro project to Shenzhen Energy Group of China and Sino Hydro Corporation. The dinner was hosted ahead of the project signing ceremony ratifying the implementation agreement and power purchase agreement for the significant project, which is set to boost electricity supply for PNG.
Present last night at the dinner were the senior management of PNG Power, Kumul Consolidated Holdings, and developers Shenzhen Energy and Sino Hydro Corporation of China. The Ramutu Hydro project will be the huge driver of the government's rural electrification program, with the potential of making electricity accessible to up to 70% of PNG households by the year 2030, from the current estimate of only 12% of households.
This country over the last 40 years had survived on 2 hydropower, Yonki and Sirinamu dams that provided the power for this country. This hydro is in fact a major project that feeds into the already existing hydropower in this country. In fact, it is such that it's a clean energy for all of us.
The 2 provinces that will greatly benefit from this project are Eastern Highlands and PNG's industrial province of Morobe.
This particular project is going to be the revenue game changer for Papua New Guinea, especially the 2 provinces, Morobe and Eastern Highlands.
Mr. Nerau told the dinner the Ramutu Hydro Power Plant is expected to increase the Ramu system generation capacity by 180 megawatts from the current 93 megawatts, which is equivalent to about 33% of the total generation capacity nationwide. Glenda Popo, TVWan News.
The APEC office will now take lead in re-equipping the fire department in the country. The Prime Minister made the declaration following the recent fire disaster in Boroko, Port Moresby.
There were concerns raised about disasters in the country and response by the relevant authorities. The most recent example being the burning down of a line of stores in Boroko.
So this one block and situation I may show him also. How ready are we long facing disaster?
The Prime Minister said the fire department is currently investigating the incident, that it may have been the work of arsonists.
Our officials are investigating the cause of the fire because of the fact that, Mr. Speaker, they think that there might be some arson involved in it, but that is yet to be established. If it's caused by, of course, electrical fault or fire in the kitchen or whatever the cause of the fire that is related to the business, the operations of the business, I'm certain that there is a sufficient insurance cover that will be able to cater for the payment of those who suffered some losses.
He says equipping of the fire service has been neglected for a long time, with directives now being given to the APEC office to lead the re-equipping exercise.
We are trying to re-equip the equipment now, and Mr. Speaker, we are also getting all the agencies of government, including Finance and Treasury and especially the APEC office to take in the lead into trying to re-equip all our fire departments all throughout the country.
Meredith Kusa, TV1 News.
Now to the finance news. The kina opened unchanged at $0.3145 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3070 $0.3978 Australian dollars, 0.2831 euro, and 33.83 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, cocoa, palm oil, and crude oil closed lower, while coffee, copra, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 42 points higher, the ASX closed at 13 points higher, and all ordinaries closed at 12 points higher. TV1 News continues after the break with news from abroad. Stay tuned.